real?
Let me see. Let me see.
Johnny won this.
I'm nearsighted. That's
a bank.
It's a bank. It's a really cool bank.
There's a slow
I've got one. Johnny won.
There's no use of me in the bank. I spend every penny I have anyway.
True.
Well, that's probably.
Anybody interested in the
Probably
bank?
wise.
No, it is nice.
It
Can I
is.
see it? I don't know, anyway, I decided there was no point
Steven?
in going to have this on pre-order.
Well, it's a prize for poets
If
who
that
read
album ever
or
comes
musicians
out, I'll
who
go
perform.
get one of these years.
That's the first time I've been able to make it to you guys because I generally work Saturdays.
I see.
So I thought I'd try it. I'm a Thursday night regular.
Will you be performing today? Will you be reading today?
I will if I'm welcome to.
Okay, then you're eligible to,
You want to check it out?
for
No,
the,
somebody wants to
Also,
train.
come up and sign up.
I've got training. But if somebody else deserves it more, that's great.
are you interested for the, are you interested? No.
This time I don't think so particularly.
Well, I got nobody
That is a
interested in
sign-up
this.
book, though, so you should go and sign
So is it
up.
just for the drawings?
It's for the drawing.
But I would not steal the
Yeah,
end.
they're
Put
welcome.
my name in.
Well, you have
She
to
likes
skip the end.
because we don't have a
Well,
dollar.
Well, my lyrics are really, really good. They're
Oh, sure.
are poetry.
All right,
I like
but
to
if
have
you
my
don't
back,
say the end,
guitar.
and I draw your name, I'm not going to,
Well,
call you up.
musicians are more than
Give it
welcome.
to somebody else. Okay?
So,
All right,
yeah.
so why don't you just put your name, your first name here, fold it in half and put it in here.
I'm a Thursday night regular, but I usually always have to work on Saturdays.
Well, we're happy you were able to make it today.
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll have
Okay.
you, no, not yet. We'll
Take
have
this,
you read first.
Opportunity
tomorrow-
between jobs.
Okay, we'll have you read
Tomorrow I
first.
will have lived in the Bay Area for 26 years.
But sign up anyway.
And normally I would go out to celebrate, but I'm
What,
not
sign up?
going out in our neighborhood with the festival
Okay,
going
just sign
on.
up there and I'll call your name first.
So I'll either order in or just
Oh, I
stay
hated
in.
that.
What's the festival again? I forgot.
Good.
Hardly strictly
Oh, that's
bluegrass.
Yeah, I
Okay.
usually work Saturdays.
Dan and I went,
Charles.
Dan gave,
Okay, we're gonna hold it for, until 2:15, because we don't have enough people here, okay?
I don't think so.
You just kind of sit around the table and do this, or do you do a
No,
stage?
we have a
Oh,
microphone
little stage.
over here.
Want those tables moved?
Yes,
she
that'd be
gave,
nice if you could do
we
that.
gave, Dan gave.
What's your name?
Charles.
Michael Martin.
Nice to meet you.
And
So,
then we came
All
back.
right, we just want this table moved over here,
Thank
and
you.
then we're gonna put this,
I,
over there. So we're
last
gonna move the
night-
tables this way.
Okay.
I had taken the day off on Friday because I had a medical
Yeah, you got it.
appointment which
Just slide the
I
tables
could
around.
not
Oh, no, I have to
control
do
the
it.
scheduling. And it was 3 hours in the middle of the day, so there was no point in going to school, you know. And so then on the way home, I realized I didn't have anything in the house to eat. So I got off the 28 bus there on Irving Street where we go, and I went into the Handy Deli where you and I sometimes go. But it then took 45 minutes to get from Irving Street up to Kirkland. Bus.
Get that. I'll get that too.
A lot of people.
It's horrendous. That's why even if I were not going out to eat tonight, which I may be in it,
No, actually, I got it.
you know, don't quote me on that, but you know what I mean? So we'll see, but if I take her somewhere, I still would not recommend, I wouldn't have recommended in any case that you and I go to the taco shop tonight. We don't, way too many, you don't even want to deal with that.
You want to be recorded?
Yeah, I like it. My wife's in the Philippines and makes sure watching.
Interestingly enough, I was
Okay,
on
so
a
we're gonna hold it
bus
till,
yesterday, I guess,
2:15.
where, the driver was an African-American woman who was probably in her late 50s, a little older than I am, and I said something about hardly strictly bluegrass, and she said, "What is bluegrass?"
Oh, Ricardo, I
She
am
had
just
no idea it was
so,
even a musical style. She'd never heard of it.
frustrated trying to find a job.
I said that it was a musical style that was similar to country music and involved a lot of fiddle playing ceremony.
And nobody's hiring, that's why I can't find a job. Well, yeah, well, there are a number of
But
problems.
as Dan pointed
First
out,
of all,
it doesn't have strictly bluegrass.
employers today, right, they're hiring, if they're hiring
Yeah, that's right,
part-time
because they
because
get
they
a
don't
lot
want
of
to pay health benefits. And you have health benefits,
I know they have
Need a
some pretty
job.
famous people this year, but I don't know whom.
Family.
And I hate to admit this,
Right,
but
something, you know, and,
when I was younger, I might have
And
gone
then
to
the other
something like that
problems
because I'd have
are
found it really
that
exciting.
it's a high-tech world today.
Nowadays, I'm just
and
not
I'm
up for
not,
facing a crowd.
50,000
you
people
know,
per
I'm
square
really
foot.
not in that
That's
high-tech
rough.
Yeah, I don't do that stuff
And it's
anymore.
also very youth-oriented too.
I
So
used to
those
not
two
only
things
do
are
it, but
against me.
enjoy it, but that was me in my
But I
20s.
keep on trying,
To me
keep
in
on
How about a
my
new
20s.
paradigm?
You just get to the
New
point where you
paradigm.
can't anymore.
So, you know, work pays, you know, we all need to be working and making money and living in nice
I was
places.
telling Marco, the
You
young
know,
man
that's
who cleans
the
house for me,
paradigm of
Right,
that I
right.
had
But
gone
I
to the
can't
Simon
imagine what else
Garfunkel
I could do.
reunion concert
Poetry
in
doesn't
Central
pay.
Park in September of 1981. But
So I don't know, I
Simon
just try to stay
Garfunkel was
positive,
my favorite musician,
but
and they
it's
had not
great
performed
therapy, just
together
writing.
for
It
more
really
than
gives
10
me a
years at
feeling
that
I'm doing
point.
something, like I'm
So
accomplishing
I
something.
remember
I have a
their
job, you know?
records on the radio from when I was in
God,
elementary
this is just,
school,
I've
but
never had
suddenly
so
in my
much
20s,
trouble.
out of nowhere, there's a chance to actually see them.
You've been looking to?
That I certainly went to.
Sort of.
well,
And the crowd was so big I couldn't see a thing, but we could hear it.
Right, well, same here, I'm not, hey, you know what? I've been in too many job situations where I've been abused by people. I'm not gonna have that happen again. No way.
well, that would be the worst situation.
There was like,
But,
the Simon and
you know,
Garfunkel
what's
thing, it was a
really
million people.
Yeah, I remember it. I've seen it on TV before.
Yeah.
Solitude.
I was actually somewhere, a much younger version of me was actually somewhere in that crowd.
You know, for a bit.
Well,
You know,
right.
not spending money, but
Yeah.
really the ultimate solution here is staring at the right. And that's really my focus.
That might be my favorite song of all
Great
time.
song. Great.
The thing I've never understood was the business with the missing verse. Because the missing verse does not appear on Bridge Over Troubled Water, but it does appear
Oh, there's multiple.
in concert recordings made before Bridge Over Troubled Water
That's
came
right, I
out.
know that.
So I don't know why it wasn't
I
included.
just keep staying positive,
You know
keep
the verse I'm
believing, I
talking
gotta
about.
believe that someday I'll get a job.
It's
the
before
only
you
way.
get to the final verse with
Don't give up, don't
laying out
give
my
up.
winter clothes and so on. It
Ah.
goes,
So, wow, man, it's the hardest thing I've ever had to do
They
in
are
my
wrong.
life is looking for a job. And not just, you know, I've been looking for jobs, you know, before. And each time, it doesn't seem to get easier, you know?
No, it isn't
Oh,
strange.
God, I
After
just hate this,
changes,
I
the
hate
mind changes, we are more or less the same.
I've heard it all.
I don't know why that's not on Bridge Over
I
Troubled
don't know
Water.
why either, because I know that verse.
I used to think the verse was added later, but it wasn't, because they put out a 1960s Simon and Garfunkel live album in the early 2000s, you know, recorded in like 1969, but never previously released. And it was recorded
Hi, Owen, how you
before
doing?
Bridge Over Troubled Water
Hi,
came
Owen,
out.
here, Owen. We're holding this
And,
for
they
another
sing
5
the
minutes.
verse, the extra
I'm
verse.
giving away this bank today. You interested? You
That's
interested?
such a
Oh,
neat,
okay.
You are?
great
Yes,
song.
good. Okay, because I need somebody else to be interested.
I was
So just put
20
your
years
first
old,
name here,
I think,
and I'll
something
put
like
this
that.
into the air.
18, no, 67?
69.
And then, no, not in there, in here, put it in here.
Oh, okay.
But put your name on here, your first name.
I love
Bridge
it.
Over Troubled Water came out in January of 1970, I think, but I understand that the box was a single the year before. So it was already known as a single on the radio before the album came out.
Okay, thank you, my dear. Okay. Now, is this your
And
pen,
if-
Ricardo? Is this your
What?
pen? Is this yours?
I were the kind of
Okay,
fan
I
that
bet
you
you
ought
I got
to be,
my
I
own
should
pen.
be able to tell you what the flip side of that single was. But I'm not sure, it might have been keep the customer satisfied.
Yeah, it's a great song.
You know, though, I was messing around on a Paul Simon website on line a couple years ago, and it says, click here to take the Paul Simon trivia for a Paul Simon trivia question, right?
All right,
So I think, okay, bring it on. I mean, I've been a fan for 40 years. I know pretty much everything that there is, you know.
Yeah.
and it's multiple choice. And the first question was the literal translation of the Japanese character on the baseball cap that Paul Simon wore during his 2000 World Tour is. And I'm like, what?
Well, that's true. That's trivial.
It is, isn't it?
Totally trivial. Yes. I remember him wearing a baseball cap.
That's because he's bald. He brushes his hair forward now.
Yeah.
Did I play you that Simon and Garfunkel song from the early 2000s? That it was part of their live album from their last tour, but it's a song that was written in the 80s and they never released, called Citizen of the Planet. Did I play you that?
Yeah, I think you did.
That's a beautiful song.
Yeah, that's a familiar title. Yeah.
Party up to you.
I like that as much as I like the Simon and Garfunkel classics of the 60s, but the thing is, by 2005, when that song was released, the music landscape had changed enough that Simon and Garfunkel were not going to have a huge hit, even if it was their first song in 30 years. If that had come out at the end of the 60s, it would be an enormous classic.
What I think happened is there was an element of some radicals.
But
the acquisition. I don't think it was part of that.
I lost what I was about to tell you. One thing that's happening is in a couple of weeks, a week and a half or so, they're putting out a new Paul Simon compilation CD. It's 20 tracks. It's called Across the Bridge of Time, which is a line from one of his later songs. Over the Bridge of Time, actually. But it's the first single disc compilation to mix the famous Simon and Garfunkel songs with his solo stuff on the same record. So it's subtitled The Paul Simon Retrospective 1964 to 2011. And I've seen the track listing. It's going to be cool. And, you could argue I own all of those songs on other CDs, which I do. But each time they reconfigure these hits albums, you see the music a little differently.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be fun. One of the albums that was really useful to me in 1999, they did a Best of Simon and Garfunkel, which was also 20 tracks. But they did something that I had never seen before, which is they did them in chronological order as they were released as singles. So I found out what came out when.
Wow, that's good. That's a good way to do it. That's like the ultimate record fans. The ultimate Simon Garfunkel.
But if I don't feel like digging through an evening's worth of their stuff, I can just still throw that one CD on and hear song after song that just brings back tons of memories.
So I submitted my manuscript to Zizza magazine.
All right.
And I contacted them first to ask if they accepted short plays, and said they did.
All right.
And then after I submitted it, I started making revisions and adding more text, more script, more dialogue.
Well, that's okay. If it comes back rejected, then you can do it before it, you can change it before you send it out again.
Well, I
And if
know
it
that.
doesn't get rejected, well, hell, just...
Right.
At that point, you could do a director's cut.
That's right, exactly, something like that.
It's like in a movie, where you
Right, exactly.
add commentary to it.
Right, well, it is like a movie, right, yeah.
Well, congratulations on doing that.
I was going to give you a copy, and then this morning I just had this brainstorm. Wow, I got some more dialogue going through my head.
I think, and I don't know if you know because you just dealt with them, I talked once on the phone to the guy that runs Ziziva, and I'm thinking it's Howard something, is that right?
No, this was a woman. I don't remember her name. She's the editor.
The editor a few years ago was Howard somebody.
Oh.
and they were on Sutter Street while I was living on Sutter
No,
Street.
they're on Gary now,
Yeah. And
downtown.
I had stuff out to them, and somebody wanted to reprint it in a feature on me or something, so I had to ask if I needed to credit them.
Yeah.
And I remember calling the guy and him having been not unpleasant, but a little abrupt on the phone, so I thought he was slightly daunting, if you know what I mean.
Oh.
Really not unpleasant, but still at the same time I felt almost like, you know,
Yeah.
Dorothy cowering before the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, right.
Please, sir.
Well, I didn't speak to the editor. I sent her an email because there was a section on their email that was, you know, that said if you have any questions, just, you know, email us. And I did that, and I immediately got the response from her, yes, we do accept short plays. Right? Cool.
Well, you have only two possibilities. If it gets rejected, which it very well may, simply because it takes time, even with work of high quality, to place it, then before you send it out again, you can make the additions that you want to make.
Right, I know
And if
that.
it doesn't get rejected, heck, let them publish the first version. You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying, but
You don't lose either way, really.
so after I had sent it out, I thought, well, how is this magazine going to publish a 32-page manuscript? But Ray said they condense it. They condense it? How can they condense it? They'll be like minuscule.
I think it'll be okay.
Maybe they could do it as a serial.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
what you're
That's
saying.
what I'm trying to talk Harper's
do.
Oh,
Trying to talk them into publishing something I have. It's like across 3 issues or 4.
okay. So is that what they would decide, or am I
Oh,
supposed
they'll
to tell
decide it,
them?
I'm sure, but it's an idea. Toss it to them. I hope they don't condense it by editing it. Chop it.
No, not like that, but I mean,
It's not going to be.
no, it can't be edited.
It's not going to be their. I mean, it's not going to be your choice. The other thing they could do, and I know, you know, it's a work whole unto itself.
Yeah.
But if they decide they'd like to publish a few scenes from it as being from, you know,
Right.
your play, let them. Because, oh yeah,
Put it in the door. Put it in the door.
it is a foot in the door and it stirs up interest in the entire play. So if they offer to publish, like, say, 4 scenes and just have it as from the play such and such by Barbara Bell Diamond, let them do that,
Because Casablanca started out as a short play, and that's what I'm hoping somebody will see it.
you can sort of tell that because most of it does take place in the cafe.
Yeah, that's true. It's like a one-act play, except for
A lot of that
taking off.
I was just thinking the only thing that doesn't write is the airfield scene at the end. And you could write that in such a way that, you know, you could include it without having to leave the set.
Yeah, because it's not, they haven't done it yet. You know, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
they're not, they have a comment. And
Yeah.
then they never
I hear
do.
what you're saying. That's probably.
But seriously, if they make some kind of deal that involves publishing what you have, but not in exactly the way you wrote it, like publishing part of it or
Right.
serializing it or something, let them.
Yeah.
What you said about foot in the door, I think is absolutely right.
Because then you go back to them next time as I have been published in your magazine.
Well, true.
Or I have been published in this and this and this magazine. It's a little more power.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Okay, we'll do. But just amazing. It's like a poem, like writing a poem. I think it's finished and it's never finished. It's always, oh my God, I just thought of something else I want to add to a poem.
Well, you know,
It's a, you know, I
Yeah.
think all poetry and also manuscripts are just unfinished works. I mean, they just continue on.
if you look in the credits in a book of poems, though, and I don't know whether this is true for short plays, because I don't really read books of short plays,
Hi, Marshall.
but it will say, grateful acknowledgement is given to the following publications in which these poems first appeared, sometimes in different form. You know, and you know, You let them publish what you sent if you want to, and then if you revise it later when it comes out in book form, you include your revisions.
So if they do accept it, but they only accept certain sections of it, I'm still free to go ahead and present the manuscript to other publishers, right?
Just for the book, but as far as other magazines, if they take only certain sections of it, you continue to circulate the sections they did not take,
Oh, well, see, that.
but not the entire thing.
Oh, that wouldn't work for me. This is a great story. It really
She
needs to
doesn't have to tell stories.
stay together.
Well, nevertheless, especially a magazine that prestigious, if they take part of it, let them, but you can't then recirculate the whole thing later, because part of it's already been sold.
We should be able to acknowledge that part of it was sold, and this is the complete issue. I didn't think that would stop it.
That's a good question, and I don't know how that works.
What was your question?
Well, you would say, I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just adding to what you said. He was talking about if they publish an excerpt,
Right.
then you won't be able to shop the rest of it.
You won't be able to shop all of it. I think you can shop the parts they didn't
They
publish.
did, but that would be chopping it up, and I couldn't.
Yeah,
But I think you could, and then you could just make a note that this chapter appeared previously, so-and-so.
I see what you're saying. That
I'm
might
hoping that
work
would
too.
stop the whole thing.
Oh, right, because it doesn't make any sense.
I'm not sure though, really.
Oh. Well, I guess they would tell me if they select certain.
But if they take only part of it, I still say let them. It's a prestigious
Oh, I would say
publication.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, I didn't realize it was a prestigious.
Yes, it is. It is.
Just anything that gets printed is helping you in the long run.
That's true too, of course.
Okay.
Because there's one more thing you can call it. Instead of like, say for instance, if you walk in and you say, hi, I'm brand new, here's something I wrote, or you say, I was published in so-and-so, and so-and-so, and so-and-so.
Well,
They're going to treat you a little better.
the other thing is, and I know how much you've struggled over the last 4 years with your job search, but despite the romantic image that society has of the writer, you know, the poet, the playwright, you will find that shopping your play or your poems is discouragingly similar to the job search.
Right.
You have a cover letter,
Yeah.
and your cover letter for literary work points up where you've been published before.
Right.
And my work has appeared in, and so on.
Right.
And I don't know, maybe it's just trying to sell yourself in any context, but the whole thing is very similar to a job search.
Well, that for me was because I was involved with community theater in the 1990s, and I won't go back into that because it's like being in a job, going in a job search. You go for an audition and you're rejected. It's like, oh my God.
Well, yeah, but that too. I mean, I'm not an actor, so I've never done that, but I've known people who were actors and actresses, and I've heard about that. And yes, I think that's very similar as well.
Right, exactly. I had auditioned for a part in Agatha Christie's 10 Little Indians. But it was called, the play is called And Then There Were
None.
None, right.
You know what the original British title of the book was?
No.
Instead of Indians, picture it being a word beginning with N that they wouldn't be able to print in this country.
Well, why would they go there?
Huh?
Why would they do that?
Yeah, what?
Because in 1920s or 30s Britain, that was what the original rhyme that it's based on was, and nobody thought about that being offensive.
Oh, what?
So that book is still known by that title in Britain,
Oh,
but they
wow.
couldn't publish it by it.
Wow.
It was too offensive in this country for them to be able to publish
Whoa,
it that
I
way.
never heard that before. So anyway, the role that I was playing, I really got into it. It was the religious spinster. And so I auditioned with a lot of other people, and all the other actors said that, wow, I was a shoo-in for that part. And I was called back for a second audition. I thought, oh yeah, great. Okay, and I auditioned again, and I really, really thought I was going to get it. And then I found out that the director selected someone who had been on Broadway
Well, yeah, but you see there, that's a credit. And if you get into Zizova, even if they take only a portion of your play, then the next time that you submit anywhere, you say in your cover letter, and yes, there is a cover letter very similar to a job search cover letter, several scenes from my, what is the title anyway?
It's my grandfather, the Underground Tailor.
Several scenes from my play, The Underground Tailor, are forthcoming in Zizova, which is well enough known that that would really give you a good, what am I trying to say? It would give you a good foot in the door, is what you said. I think that's exactly right. What is your name?
Charles. Charles St. Martin. I come here on Thursdays. I just haven't gotten here.
I've been here on Thursdays from time to time, but I get up awfully early in the morning, so I haven't come lately.
Yeah.
I'm Robert Smith.
Robert.
You play an instrument?
Yeah, I play guitar. I write songs.
cool.
I'm the feature here on the 14th.
Oh, cool.
It's like the feature Thursday, no, the 17th, excuse me.
Okay,
And I'm the
listen, you
feature
know,
in
how many
Hotel
of there
Utah
are
that
us
Monday.
here? I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4.
And I've been in the Philippines 6 months.
Barbara, there is something else about today.
I think I don't usually do this because I'm afraid if I extend it, if I wait till 2:30, everybody will come in at 2:30.
Remember that because of Hardly Strictly Bluegrass, an awful lot of people today are going to be elsewhere.
Well, Johnny said he may not be able to make it because of that. And then also Jeannie called me and said she was going to come, but I don't think she's going to be able to make it either. Because she comes by car.
I think V actually is coming because she just called me a few minutes ago to say she was.
Okay.
And I said I would not go on until she came.
Well, I think we'll hold another couple of minutes because I'm afraid people will start walking in and then we're going to have a little problem with the time.
I'm actually afraid they may not. Today it's possible between the really good weather and the festival that this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, there's 1,
Except for V, she really will come.
7, there are 8 of us, and I usually hold it until we get at least 6. We have 8. Okay, so we'll start in a few minutes.
There are 2 reasons that I'm sure she's coming. One is that she usually works on Saturdays and actually in advance took the day off so she could come, which was very nice of her.
Yes, indeed. Yes, yes.
And secondly, she did actually call me on my cell a few minutes ago to let me know that she was running late, which would, but would be here.
Okay, so shall I take a vote? Do we want to wait some more, or should we start? We should start.
Frankly, at this point, I would say wait because we have so few people.
Right,
I'd
okay,
like
well,
to
let's...
move forward and start, I think, I'm sure it's resolved.
Okay, well, when we have a raise of hands, okay? How many people say we should start now? 1, 2. Question is, Owen, should we start now or wait another 10 minutes to get some more people in here?
I would say now.
Now? Okay, so that's 3 out of 7. So the majority rules, we're gonna wait, we'll wait till 2:30, okay?
It is 10:30.
This is 5 minutes, 4 minutes.
No, that's not correct. It's another 5 minutes.
All right, I
Okay.
think that,
That's what 2:30. And maybe V will be here.
yeah, she said around,
Right.
she has many marvelous qualities, but punctuality is not one of them. Don't quote me.
Okay.
Is that old?
Say it all.
It's new. I had one which was a very modern design that my late wife had given me, and I lost it last summer after
I
having
saw
worn it
this
for
before,
years.
but I'd love to see it again. I think it's a classic. It really is. Really. Absolutely. And it's
That's what I do.
also,
This guy.
it's French, right?
Yes.
And that's why. Yeah.
Oh, how long are we gonna wait, Barbara?
Waiting another 5 minutes.
Justin's copying me.
The only thing about the watch is that the other day I fell and the ring
Oh, no.
that holds the watch to the chain, the end of the chain,
Yes.
bent badly, and I actually called Tigex, and Vince said just bring it in, and he bent it back without any problem. But although it was lightly plated to look silver, like the rest, like the stainless steel and the rest of the watch.
Right.
At least that loop is copper, since the plating wore off and it's red where the rest of it isn't.
Oh.
Which is okay, it's just,
Well, same here, you know, I had, this bag cost a fortune. I'm not telling you how much it cost, but I had so many problems with this bag. In fact, all these hooks, you know, they just
yeah.
came apart. So I brought it into the shoemaker to get, you know, some new clasp there. And then I just realized yesterday, you know what, these clasps are not brass. These are chrome.
Nevertheless, they'll hold it.
Yeah.
So if you can't see it in this light, but the
I
silver
think-
part
yeah.
wore off a little when he bent it, and you can see that this which bent is copper.
Oh.
Still,
Still?
I have fallen despite myself as I'm going to. Many times since I've had this, and it's worn up very well,
Uh-huh.
better than I have in some cases.
All right.
Is it a battery?
Yeah.
Is JJ coming?
No.
The old pocket watches were made before
Is he
shock.
okay
Here's
with
the-
his, teeth? It's okay?
No.
It work out okay? Well, hello, welcome.
The old watches were made
Is
before shock.
he
And
recovered
that's why they don't last very
from
well.
his, dental surgery?
Yeah.
Suffering from his dental work.
Yes,
Because
right.
of my disability, I
Hey, sister, how you doing?
fall
I
hard.
don't want to reach over everybody.
No, let's go, come on out.
Oh, you're dressed up.
No, I'm not.
You look very nice.
Thank you.
How are you, Marcia?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Dee, we're starting, in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Because
Thank you.
there are fewer people than we expected, and it's partly the weather and partly hardly strictly bluegrass, I think.
Oh, it's just
Yes.
this weekend.
Yes,
It
right.
certainly
I
is.
was thinking it was
Yeah,
next
the men's
weekend.
Yeah.
Well, Buford lives in the same neighborhood I do,
Oh.
and our neighborhood is a zoo. In fact, I'm gonna stay in and lay low tomorrow. I don't dare go out.
I don't say I blame you. But it's so warm today, I don't know if it's like this tomorrow, if you should go out anyway. This is a stay in AC weather.
And right.
Yeah, but nobody here has any AC.
I don't either.
I just came back from the Philippines. This feels like winter.
I can understand that, actually.
Sure.
Are we on vacation or business?
I like to call it a vacation.
What's the
No.
temperature over there?
Pardon me?
What's the temperature in the Philippines?
Oh, it was easily 100, 105 every day.
Oh, wow.
I went over on vacation back in January,
Mhm.
and I met my pen pal, who I've been writing back and forth with for about a year.
Huh?
And she was every bit as cute and real as I thought she was, and vice versa. So we got married.
Oh.
And I came back, you know, because I wanted to collect that vacation pay.
Huh.
So I came back to my job, and when I showed up, my boss was all upset. The place almost fell apart without you. I was like, time for a big fat raise, it sounds like.
That's, yeah, well,
He was
that's
like,
what
no,
you
we might demote your pay.
Huh?
And so I just reached over to the printer and took a blank piece of paper.
Right there, Mike.
I quit. Here's my 2-week notice. See you, bye. And I went back to the Philippines.
Well, good for you. It takes a lot of courage to stand up to people that way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He came in the shop. I went back to I have a little shop. I work on watches. And I went back into my shop, right, to work. And meanwhile, I'm Googling jobs in the Philippines, jobs in the Philippines. Why did I do that? And he came in and goes, well, you got your raise. That was a bold gamble. You got your raise. And I'm like, that's not even the point. See you. Bye.
It wasn't the gamble I meant it by.
And I went back over to the Philippines. Because it takes a long time to bring her here, so I just went back.
So you're gonna just live there?
I did until last week.
I have a friend who,
I was there over 4
I have a friend who married a woman from the Philippines, and they are there now. And he likes it a lot.
There's much I like about it, believe me.
He's come back a couple of times, and when we hang out, this is Merritt, who you met at Thanksgiving that year. When he comes back, he brings hundreds of photos and describes everything to me in detail. But he really likes it. He really likes the people. He has a very, very good, excuse me, a very good impression of the Philippines and the Filipino people and everything about it.
It's a sweet little country. There's much I like about it. I'm not really built for heat though. I'm kind of built for AC, and that part really got to me. And then when I first went over there, I tried my hand at writing for a magazine, and oh, well, your writing will come up to speed. Don't worry, try some more. You'll get better. Try some more. And finally, I had to sit them down and show them like 5 of their issues. Here's my first article, word for word, under someone else's name. Here's my second article, word for word, under your brother's name. Here's another issue. This is my article here. This is my article here. All these articles that supposedly weren't good enough for you, you've gone ahead and printed under your own names. You know, I feel like I'm just feeding you ideas.
I'm sorry.
And I'm going to need to be paid. And I'm a musician. I copyright my shit. So you'll be hearing from my lawyer. And they just kind of laugh because if you're an American trying to get a lawyer to do something in the Philippines, go to hell and wait. You know, so it didn't collect any money.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And then I went over and worked for and it was kind of like a community organization, you know, helping poverty people. And the typhoon hit. And so we were like pumping water out of people's houses.
Welcome everybody to San Francisco Poet Speakeasy. We have a small group today. Our selected poet is Robert Smith, and we're going to start with a couple of poets first, and then Robert will come on. So our first poet will be Ricardo.
How's everybody doing today?
Okay.
Good. This is kind of an infamous gathering. You know, a lot of things that you don't think that people in 100 years are going to be watching, but sometimes they do. Sometimes they are.
An intimate gathering, too. Intimate and intimate.
You know, I don't know who there maybe it was a wedding song. You know, when there's love, everything works out, and there is love, and everything will work out.
Ricardo, are you sure that's on? I'm having trouble hearing you even with the mic.
Okay, you know what? Maybe I'll start working the mic today.
No.
No?
Just turn it
It was on before.
Oh, here we go.
You volume, yeah. Better?
How's that?
Yeah,
Is that better?
Much better,
Yeah,
yes.
Good. First of all, I want to announce I'm going to read a piece to honor my idol, my mentor, my spiritual mentor. It's been difficult to meet in real life, but if you're a poet, if you're an artist, if you're an actor, if you're a director, if you have anything to do with being intellectual, spiritual, God puts one on the planet every lifetime, and that's Charles Bukowski.
Yeah.
Charles Bukowski has my respect and my love and faith in him as a human being and as our country's and world's intellectual laureate. And I pray that one of these days he'll be recognized in public as such. Queen Zenobia Butler's Unity. My sister Zenobia met me, some of you know her here as Nicole, in the Castro one afternoon. It was on Market Street. And she told me about a vision that she had. Now, we were broke. We were Western Union money back and forth, like $20, $30 at a time, and paying the $10 fee just so that we can get some money to eat. And she told me about a vision that she had, Zimbabwe. And I understood for quite some time that my sister is royalty. She's queen. How could this vision from God happen? How could Queen Zenobia Butler Foster, poor, criminal record, become queen? And with what wisdom and vision did God bless my sister Zenobia Butler with? And this is what the world is waiting for, is to understand what is Queen Zenobia Butler's unity. What does this mean? In Armenia, what does it mean? In Persia, what does it mean? In America, what does it mean? Arabia. Prince Bandar asked, what does this mean? Queen Zenobia Butler's unity. Transparent and small, justice, not rules. belong to finding life without our sisters and brothers want to unite. Division is human. Love human, love one. Good government builds for one. Queen Zenobia Butler's unity. Unity. Love. Her brother is president. President Ricardo Luna Butler. And in the book of Isaiah, it talks about the Lord smashing down the walls that kings have built to stand in the way of the Lord's plan. And those walls have been breaking and many are broken. And our day is coming soon. Justice. Queen Zenobia Butler's unity. I love my sister very much. Are we still here? I became president in part because the CIA watched me do some things that I didn't do. The Holy Spirit did. I believe in the Holy Spirit. Great Spirit. I believe in God. And God puts somebody on the planet that's like a server. All wisdom and intelligence go through this server. If you ask Charles Bukowski, where do you get your inspiration? He'll say all things derived from Whitman. Whitman is long past gone, but he's still here because Charles speaks with Whitman. The great General Patton, walking the battlefield that was empty as Aid asks in the Francis Ford Coppola picture, Patton, General, you talk like you were there. Talking about a battle that happened 2,000 years before, and he looks at him incredulous as Aid. He said, I was there. There's a few people like this in history that God blesses with the highest level of wisdom and intelligence that works through time and space through the Spirit, the Holy Spirit.